少剑2追放。
欢迎回来，长官。今天为您准备的是实验室培育的大吉岭红茶，类似过去自然栽培的品种，拥有着典雅的葡萄香气，希望您能喜欢。我经常在想，自己是不是太严厉了？ 该清理一下了。把身后交给我吧。相比胜利，大家平安无事更令我感到开心。
Original code name, GR-G36. After leaving Griffin, she reverted to her old name, Centaureissi, from her days as a maid and has kept it ever since. Be it on the battlefield or at the cafe, she had always been meticulous and vigilant, the perfect head maid in life and a trustworthy assistant in battle. Following her departure from Griffin, Centaureissi, then working as a housekeeper, received an invitation from Springfield and became the very first employee of Zucchero Cafe. Her earnest work ethic gradually consolidated the cafe's business, while her solemn approach to problems allowed her to handle crises without fault. With the help of Springfield and other cafe members, Centaureissi grew to understand the ties between combat and life, eventually boarding the Elmo along with other cafe members and becoming the Elmo's head maid. Loyal, disciplined, and attentive, Centaureissi possesses nearly all the intricate qualities of a perfect head maid, despite her struggles with perceiving and expressing emotions naturally. However, with the company of her friends in Zucchero and the return of her cherished master to her side, this immaculate maid is bound to make short work of such a predicament. Just what kind of service does Centaureissi have in store for everyone today? When Centaureissi first joined Springfield at Zucchero Cafe, it was only the two of them. Arranging ingredient procurements, planning business schedules, setting up standard operating procedures, Centaureissi's rigorous and earnest approach helped Zucchero settle down in its early days and created a solid foundation for its future growth. Even when faced with the occasional tricky customers or delicate situations, she always resolved the matter rationally and professionally. When it came to new members of Zucchero like Sharkrian and Doris, she would point out their shortcomings and re-emphasize her requirements promptly, though Manager Springfield would then occasionally glance at her with a perplexed gaze. Might I have done something wrong? Centaureissi would think to herself. Ultimately, as she watched these members she educated every day put on their own spectacular show in the corners of CHC-02, she finally understood the meaning behind Springfield's gaze. Everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses. Perhaps she should be the one to loosen up, being a bit more gentle and a little more flexible towards both herself and others might just be what is needed. Inside a rundown hut, Centaureissi handed a bloodstained photograph to the weeping girl before her. I'm sorry, his injuries were too grave for me to do anything. Please accept my condolences. In keeping with our promise, I've come to deliver his belongings. The girl looked over the picture, trembling, only then noticing Centaureissi's torn synthetic skin and stained uniform, both undoubtedly having gone through the same treacherous journey as the photograph. I heard he got overwhelmed by a swarm of elids and didn't make it out. How did you... Yes, it was a vicious battle indeed. The informant was framed and ambushed. It would have been the last of him, if not for Centaureissi fighting her way through the swarm of elids just to bring him out. He never gave up, and so, neither could I. As if in response to the informant's desperate pleas still echoing in her mind, Centaureissi managed to get him out safely, the damages across her frame notwithstanding. Once she makes a promise, she will do everything to see it through. The payment once meant for the informant was then used to fulfill his last wish. Centaureissi could have saved Zucchero this expense or made the trip just to return his belongings, but she had always been a doll of her word. Once again, I extend my condolences. Please, may you live a good life, not just for yourself, but also for him. Centaureissi tidied up her clothes and then bowed at the girl. How could life ever be good without him? Muttered the girl, unclear whether it was directed at Centaureissi or at herself. It will. I'm sure it will, Centaureissi promised. Eh? Tiramisu again? Aren't you sick of it? Exclaimed Sharkry as she huddled up to Centaureissi. One's free to spend their break time as they wish. Speaking of which, shouldn't you be preparing the special ingredient, Sharkry? Springfield's voice came from nearby, and Sharkry walked off with a pout. You're an amazing confectioner, Centaureissi, but if I may ask, what's with your fondness for tiramisu? Asked Centaureissi, who remained in place as she watched Centaureissi lay the ladyfingers on the tray. It has a complex aroma mixing coffee, cheese, and milk, melding a marvelous blend of soft and crunchy, with interesting patterns created by the cocoa powder sprinkled on top. I think, or rather I believe, it's a typical yet still delightful dessert and a great taste for any confectioner. Is that why you practice it a lot? Seems like I should give it a try too. Centaureissi did not respond to Andor's and quietly continued her work. Practice was one thing. Her fondness for its rich texture was another, but neither was the most important reason. The gleam of the eyes of her master, the smile on her face, the admiration in her words. Thinking about them, a faint curve appeared on Centaureissi's face. For tomorrow's afternoon tea, tiramisu seemed to be her choice. Habit is a powerful thing, and Centaureissi knew it all too well. Habits of a soldier kept her treating people in a solemn manner instinctively, despite her new role as a maid. Habits of being meticulous kept her pursuing the perfect schedule and service for her master, despite her insistence otherwise. Now, Centaureissi's flawless care and assistance to her master has seemingly become a new habit of hers. However, she harbors her own ulterior motive and selfish desires underneath. If I just let master grow a little more accustomed to my service and have my presence become a habit to her, will she stay with me instead of disappearing like before? Will master remember me more when I'm not around her? Can I leave more marks within her heart? A professional maid shouldn't let her emotions cloud her judgment, but Centaureissi had been wading knee-deep in them for a very long time. If I try a little harder and become just a little more perfect, will master stay by my side forever? She thought to herself. Master, may I take a picture with you? Said Centaureissi, sitting in front of me and looking a little nervous. If my memory serves me right, today should be the anniversary of her boarding the Elmo. Looks like she finally found the right excuse to open up. A few days ago, I took a short break between my tasks, and Centaureissi left the ops room to prepare a fresh pot of tea. During her absence, I walked past the desk she would be sitting at when helping me out. Out of curiosity, I took a peek at the screen to see what our perfect head maid was up to. Posing reference for a couple's photo. How to ask a significant other for a photo together? 100 ways to approach someone you care about. A memo was taped to the corner of the screen with one specific date prominently highlighted. Anniversary of reunion with Master. Was this what's on your mind lately, Centaureissi? Sure, I said, as my thoughts rushed back to the present. I pulled out my terminal and handed it to her. She took the terminal and turned around somewhat stiffly. There she stood, uptight and a bit further behind me while holding the terminal far above her head. As both our faces appeared on the screen, hers looked just a tad more flushed. Well then, please look at the camera with me. 3, 2, and right before the final countdown, I took a step back, wrapped my arm around her shoulder, and pulled my body towards hers. 1. The camera flash went off, capturing my smile and her surprise. Master, what was that about? Well, it's the anniversary of our reunion, after all. No need to just stand behind me as usual. It's time for you to indulge a little, don't you think? You can't let all the tutorials you read online go to waste. Hearing that, Centaureissi stuttered for a moment. I couldn't help but pat her on the head after seeing her look of embarrassment as her secret was revealed. There's no need for an excuse when you want us to take pictures together. We can do that at any time. Besides, since it's our anniversary, don't you think only taking one picture is nowhere near enough? Having said that, I held onto her hand, which was still clutching my terminal. Shall we? After a brief moment of silence, Centaureissi's face grew redder, and she could no longer hold back her smile. She nodded and held up the terminal once again. Are you alright, Master? Centaureissi stood right behind me as we watched the night, the wind howling by and kicking up sand and dust mixed with particles of ominous dark green. Yeah, it's almost winter again, I said as I rubbed my hands together. Suddenly, I felt a thick blanket being wrapped around me, immediately dispelling the chilling dampness. A cup of hot milk then appeared in front of my eyes. I took it from Centaureissi, her fingertips as warm as the walls of the cup. Neither of us spoke, but we acted in unison. Why are you asking that all of a sudden? Your face, Master. You looked very lonely, so I've come to keep you company. Lonely, huh? Maybe she was right. Rain like this always brought back memories of the past, and it was hard not to get caught up in them. Good thing she was there promptly, so I didn't have to face the cold alone. Unlike Manager Springfield, I have a hard time picking up on others' emotions or the room's atmosphere. I know Master has a lot of things to worry about every day, but I often can't tell what's on your mind, Centaureissi muttered softly, but her words reached my ears loud and clear. Handing you a cup of hot milk when you're cold or showing up for you in the time of need is all I can achieve, but I feel as if that's far from enough. A proper handmaid should be able to help her master with her worries. Hence, if you have anything on your mind, may you share it with me, Master. I wish to better understand you, be closer to you, so I can better aid you. Even if I can't help you make peace with your troubles, I wish to help you share the burden. Are you willing to trust me, Master? I turned around. Behind me, Centaureissi appeared a little tense, but her eyes shone with determination. Of course. Having received the rare invitation to the banquet in the White Zone, I found myself suiting up for the occasion. Centaureissi stood by my side, quietly packing the clothes I had picked out, when suddenly she approached and leaned into my face with a serious expression. Master, though the attire is certainly important, please don't forget to also tend to your appearance. I glanced at myself in the mirror. Everything looked fine, but Centaureissi had already ushered me to the dressing table, so I already had no choice but to sit down. One's disposition and bearing are determined by their features. Failure to maintain your appearance while you're busy with work is my negligence. Would you mind allowing me to make up for my oversight by trimming your eyebrows? Having said that, Centaureissi pulled out a small eyebrow razor out of nowhere, perhaps from her almighty super maid kit. I closed my eyes and felt the chilling blade slowly scraping across, or rather against the skin around my eyes. Surprisingly, the process was not frightening at all, as Centaureissi's hand held onto my cheeks with reassuring warmth. I couldn't tell for sure, but I still believed that hand was not one for securing my head in place, but also to gently caress my face. Suddenly, I felt a slight tickle and opened my eyes. Centaureissi's eyes were inches from mine. The skin of the corners of her eyes flushed with a shade of rosy red. I watched as her pupils quivered ever so slightly, with my own reflection in them blurring them for a fleeting moment. Master, please close your eyes. I don't wish to hurt you by accident. It's fine. I trust you, I said, continuing to gaze the face. I heard that in the East, helping others shape their eyebrows means something special. It's pretty fascinating, unless you simply do not wish me to look at you. Centaureissi sighed, her warm breath brushing against my cheek. Master, you truly are perceptive. An opportunity to observe Master so closely is precious to me. I simply wish to carefully imprint every detail of you in my mind. Given that you're heading for the White Zone, it will be some time before we can see each other again. But with you staring at me like this, I don't know how to react. Master, would you kindly? But an opportunity to observe Centaureissi so closely is also precious to me. I, too, will miss you during the days you're not around. I grinned, making my intent clear, and watched as her expression shifted from surprise into a gentle smile. That means we're one and the same. In that case, would you mind shaping my brows in the future, Master? That way, we can forge some precious memories together. Never did I expect my headmate to have her own little desires. A most wonderful occasion. She's finally being true to her heart. Of course. Just leave it to me. She's fucking cute, dude. Alright. The door to the ops room opens, and this morning sunlight streams in through the window, dazzling my eyes as the new day begins. A familiar figure stands before me, silhouetted by the light. Upon hearing me enter, she turns and bows. Good morning, Master. Centaureissi, what are you doing here? Did you wait long? I'm sure Miss Grozov must have told you already, but while she's away from the Elmo, I will be assisting you in your daily tasks. I seem to recall something like that. Rosa was on a mission and had to leave the Elmo for a while, but before she left, she definitely said something about Centaureissi taking her place during my absence. I've been so busy recently, though, that it must have slipped my mind. I was worried you'd overwork yourself if there was nobody to help you, Master. Since I've been helping to manage your daily life, I know of your habits. That knowledge would probably help me adjust more quickly in taking Miss Gross's place with you, in assisting you, which was why I recommended myself to her. Don't worry, Master. I will assist you and reduce your burden to the best of my abilities. I'll be better off with you around than by myself. Let's get to work then. I've made your usual iced Americano, Master. All the best for today's work. I head over to the terminal and find a freshly brewed coffee by my hand. I take a sip and I'm greeted by the familiar, crisp fragrance. Right. I've got my motivation to work now. I activate the terminal interface and prepare myself for an incoming swarm of pending items in the form of blinding red dots. But the expected onslaught does not come. Instead, I see a work schedule quietly waiting for me. Upon opening it, I see the tasks and assignments for today, neatly organized by type and category. There are even personal recommendations beside them. I look up and see Centaureissi working on her own terminal beside me. Upon sensing my gaze on her, she looks up as well, as though she was expecting my reaction. This is... I simply took the liberty of making some small improvements based on your work habits. I hope it helped. You couldn't call this small by any means. You have to be Oh no. What's wrong? Is there a problem with the schedule? She strides over and looks down at the pending item with me. 1100. Meet with the underground broker. It's Nikolov. I only just remembered. A couple of days ago, he said he was pushing this negotiation back, but I forgot about that. If my memory serves, you've had dealings with him before, have you not? Yes, I sometimes buy things from him that I can't get through Polanitsa. I arranged to buy new frame parts from him today, because mailing stock was almost gone. What a headache. I haven't managed to source a new supplier in time. Those got to adjust the schedule, and who knows how long mailing stock will hold out. Actually, I happen to know a reliable broker in the area. She might have the parts you need. If you're willing to place your trust in me, I could help contact her for you. Circumstances permitting, we might be able to finish negotiations by today. Wait, really? You just so happen to have someone like that lined up? Actually, that would be a great help. And it's alright, I'm confident in letting you handle things. So please, contact her, Centaureissi. Centaureissi looks like she wants to say something else, but in the end she simply nods and heads back to the station. With her help, this brief interruption does not unduly impede the progress of our work, and we soon get back into the rhythm of things. For a while, the ops room was filled with the sound of fingers tapping quietly on touchscreens and the permeating fragrance of coffee. They combined with this rare period of clear sunlight in an oddly refreshing way. This document, I've already saved it to your file vault for you. Also, the weather recently has been quite dry, so I made some tea for you to help keep your throat moist. Please take care of yourself. Thank you. Who should I pick for this commission? I've selected them for you too. Sitting down for too long might lead to muscle cramps. Allow me to give you a massage, Master. Thank you. That feels so much better. Are you feeling tired, Master? I've made your bed for you, so feel free to rest at any time. No. That's alright. Actually, I feel more energized than usual. That's right. I didn't feel as tired as before while working today. What was that? In addition, my work efficiency seems to have improved as well. Every time I look up from my terminal, Centaureissi is always there to put my heart at ease. Her timely assistance helps speed things along by a considerable degree. Centaureissi, did mailing give you a special upgrade that made you be able to read minds or something? Like, say, did she outfit you with some kinda unfathomably advanced module that can analyze brainwaves? Surprisingly enough, the day's work is finished on time. The question slips out as I close my eyes to enjoy a shoulder massage from her. Not at all, Master. Why do you ask? It's just that you were in time for every bit of help you gave today. You had solutions ready before I even had to ask for them. Take the Nikolov matter this morning, for example. Did you conveniently happen to have a suitable contact on hand? That's a little... I mean, I didn't mention that delay to anyone before this, so did you... Most perceptive, Master. It's true. I did contact that new broker ahead of time. While I wasn't sure that there would be a delay in negotiations, I overheard you and Miss Groza talking about your dealings with Nikolov before this, while I was cleaning the ops room. You mentioned that he wasn't able to deliver on time due to supply shortages, and his prices were always slightly higher than market rate. I've seen many such cases before. Most of them were due to a merchant with multiple buyers and choosing to sell to the one who could pay more. I saw his name when I was compiling today's work plan for you last night, and I was worried that something might have come up. So I used Akaro's intelligence network to contact a reliable broker who has worked with us before, just in case something came up. And judging by the looks of things, it turned out to be helpful after all. Master, you might want to consider doing business with someone else next time. You're right. However, the last time we dealt with him was several months ago, was it not? I can't believe you remembered my nonchalant complaints from so long ago. I guess keeping track of all those small details is very much in line with how you do things, Centaureissi. Still, him picking and choosing his customers is just a guess. What if something actually came up on his end? When it comes to brokers, it would be best not to burn bridges unless you have to. About that, perhaps you should look at this, Master. She lightly taps terminal screen, and a list of frame part transaction logs show up on the screen. I was a little worried last night, so I asked the manager to help me keep an eye on Nikolav's transaction logs on the market. While we didn't manage to find his logs, you'll notice here that there's a bunch of frame parts were listed as sold on the market at 0825 this morning. My guess is that was the shipment he was supposed to sell you. I stare hard at the listed sales price, which is well above what I offered, and sigh. Looks like I need to inform Polonitsa about this. Good thing we had you and your contact around, so his little stunt didn't do much harm. I guess that's our head made for you. With just the barest hints of something going awry, you picked up on a problem I didn't even know existed and came up with a way to deal with it. You're just full of surprises today. She chuckles gently, and I feel her warmth by my side as night begins to fall. It's not mind reading, nor was I trying to surprise you. I just wanted to serve you as well as I could, Master. After all, that's my duty as your one and only head maid, is it not? Her warmth recedes, replaced by a mug of warm milk in my hand. You've worked hard today, Master, but now you finish your tasks. Have this warm cup and let me help you get to sleep. God, can she not be more wife, man? What the fuck? Alright. So days have passed, and Groza has returned to the Amo. Thus, Centaureissi no longer needs to spend all day with me in the ops room. Now that Miss Groza has returned, I shall hand the duties of a student back to her. Instead, I shall focus on managing her daily life, like before. That said, the situation feels a little different, somehow. At some point, my habit of turning off my alarm clock as I woke up was replaced by the sight of Centaureissi standing beside my bed. There isn't much work today, so I pushed her waking up time back by half an hour. Please, rest a little more. I feel her warm hand on my face, gently closing my eyes. The faint scent of coffee that accompanies it lulls me back to sleep. Whether it's a long meeting, a hard-fought battle, or when I'm simply returning to the ops room, there is always a cup of piping hot tea waiting for me beside my terminal. The scent might change from day to day, but it never fails to be warm and welcoming. Be it flower tea, fruit tea, or simple black tea, Centaureissi is always able to find the flavor that's just right for me. Unexpected situations are the norm in the containment zones, but no matter what happens, Centaureissi always seems to be able to turn up by my side just in time, whether it's to solve problems, calm everyone down, or just help me relax. I soon grow used to her flawless service. Surely the hallmark of a competent head maid is the ability to handle all sorts of situations in a timely, calm, and elegant way. Right? Centaureissi's gone in for a routine maintenance checkup today, and after a long meeting I check my communicator, but there are no messages there. This is strange. Mailing would usually have sent me maintenance reports by now. As I happen to brief here at the moment, I decide to head over to the repair bay. Mailing? I hear Mailing exclaim as I open the door to the room. She's sitting in front of a computer and she appears to be reading a document. I move up beside her and study the densely packed characters as well. Huh. What's this? Oh, it's the service guide to the Commander! What are you doing here? I came to check on the results of Centaureissi's maintenance. And what's this about a service guide? A collection of likes, preferred flavors, guidelines on how to deal with unforeseen contingencies, an inventory of snacks and drinks, plan, stuff for daily service foods, and what's this? 100 pieces of trivia about Master? My eyes quickly scan through the text. Statements like 30% of Master's overtime is caused by taking too long in handling doll relationships. Under extreme circumstances, Master may end up having to eat 10 meals per day in order to keep the dolls happy. And Master purchases Covenant rings every 21 days, but unfortunately they cannot be resold and thus they cannot generate income. Come into view, and I quickly avert my eyes. This goes well beyond mind reading and into the realm of X-ray vision. I'm as naked as a baby before her eyes. What's wrong, Commander? It's nothing. Looks like Mailing hasn't discovered the problem with the document. Oh, yes, about the maintenance just now. I found this abnormally large document in her NeuroCloud storage. She said that she used it for reference during her daily duties, so I got curious and asked if I could see it. The maintenance report. I'll send it over right now. Mailing begins frantically tapping away at the terminal, but I'm no longer interested in the report. The only thing I'm interested in is looking at this document now. It lists all the preferences of everyone on the Elmo. Details various situations might take place, specific service needs for everyone. This document contains massive amounts of information in densely packed text, but it's all neat and properly formatted, with information on me taking up the majority of its contents. So, it turns out that every instance when she showed up on time, served me with impeccable precision, or took care of problems with skillful handling was because she had collected all this information in secret and then came up with an ideal action plan after considering all possibilities. How had I come to take her flawless service for granted? After returning to the ops room, I found Centaureissi there, unsurprisingly enough. She is standing in front of the terminal with a steaming cup of tea ready, just as always. You're back, though it took you longer than expected. Did you go somewhere? Yes. I headed down to the repair bay to get your maintenance report, and I happened to see the service guide to the Elmo. Upon hearing you mention that document, Centaureissi's eyes widened a little, but they soon returned to the usual state, and she quietly sighs. I told Miss Mailing to keep it under wraps. It's alright. I wanted to read it. So, will you enter this little accident into your guidelines on how to deal with unforeseen contingencies? Apparently, she hadn't expected me to say that because a tinge of scarlet appears on her face. Master, would you like me to do that? It was just a joke. I would never joke when it comes to you, Master. This is my responsibility as your head maid. She bows slightly to me and walks over as I feel a sense of guilt creeping over me. Actually, you don't have to... Master. She lightly squeezes my hand, and the faint scent of coffee instantly envelops me. Since you've seen that guide, then why don't you guess what kind of tea this is? She hands me the cup. The warmth of its contents flows into my palm through its walls, melting away the words I haven't even said. Rather than mere concern, would the proper way to respect and acknowledge her hard work be to simply taste and appreciate the fruits of her labors? I raise the cup and meet her expectant gaze. Very well. It is now 7 a.m. Good morning, Master. I hope you will have a nice day. As a gentle alarm rings, I hear Centaureissi's voice speaking into my ear. I open my eyes, but she's nowhere to be seen. Right. Zakero's preparing for an in-store event, and they're short on people, so Centaureissi went over to help and isn't on the ammo. I sit up, and all of a sudden I'm consumed by a terrible sense of loss. You've been working for an hour, Master. It must have been hard. Do put your files aside and enjoy your lunch. A rest notification pops up from the corner of my screen. Centaureissi's been regularly reminding me to take breaks this way. I stretch my back. The door to the ops room opens. Naturally, the person serving me lunch isn't Centaureissi, but Sabrina. Ta-da! Lunch is here. Guess what it is, Commander? Judging by the smell, is it spaghetti bolognese? Got it in one, Commander. I was going to make seafood pasta, but I changed it to bolognese thanks to a reminder from Centaureissi. Otherwise, it might have interacted badly with the vitamin C supplements you've been taking recently. Go on. Try it, Commander. A reminder from Centaureissi. There's a small package in my hand. The Zakero logo on it reminds me of its origins, or informs me of its origins. There's a little sticky note on the package with neat handwriting on it saying, "Hope it goes well." Is this some kind of in-house merch from the store? But what does "hope it goes well" mean? Curious, I open it up, but just as I'm about to examine its contents, a set of rapidly approaching footsteps interrupts me. Oh. Hey! What a caramel! Is the Elmo so poor we can't even afford to restock? How am I going to make macchiatos to share with you? She frowns and reaches into the package in front of me, then pulls her hand back to reveal several packets of caramel syrup. You should have told me you already bought some. Also, you didn't hear anything just now, got that? She storms off again. As I look back at the sticky note on the package, I can almost see Centaureissi smile there. What other surprises are there in store for me? However, nothing else happens for the rest of the day. Once work is finally over, I sit back on my bed. With a vague sense of disappointment in my heart, I sigh and prepare to lie down when I suddenly hear my communicator ring. Yep, I knew she wouldn't disappoint me. Good evening, Master. I hope you finished your work and are now preparing to rest. Yes, I am, actually. How did you know I'd be waiting to hear from you? You were waiting for me, Master? I'm sorry. Things in the cafe were a little busy today. I could only contact you after we closed. I thought that you would have finished your work by now, and I'd already made a cup of coffee in the cafe, so this seemed like a good time to contact you. I should probably have done that sooner. That's alright. This is a good time too. After all, it's thanks to your little shows of concern that I feel your presence. It's almost as though you never actually left the Elmo at all. Master, are you saying that my efforts allowed you to have a good day? May I interpret that as saying you approve of my work as your headmate? But of course. I hear the sound of liquid pouring into a cup over the channel, which helps me relax further. It's followed by a quiet chuckle, which soon fades. Still, I'm sure I could serve you better if I were physically by your side, Master. During the past few days away from the Elmo, I couldn't help but worry that you might not be used to my absence. Well, to be honest, that sort of was the case. However, your reminders, assistance, and our private chats like this, they're enough for me. Don't worry so much. You've done very well. There's no need to give yourself too much pressure. Is that so? Still, even though I can't see you in person and we can only speak via transmissions like these, I do feel content for some reason. Is this because of some unique skill you possess, Master? But I feel the same way about you, you know. Lying is silent for a while. I lie back on my bed and sleepiness gradually washes over me. This feeling, I've never experienced it before with anyone else. Why is that, I wonder? Could it be because you're special to me, Master? I feel the same way, too. Enfolded by Centaureisi's gentle words, I find myself muttering in my heart words that my mouth is unable to speak as drowsiness fully swallows me up. In the last moments before I drift off to sleep, I hear her indistinct voice from afar. Good night, Master, and sweet dreams. Good morning, Master. It's the beginning of a new day, one filled with Centaureisi's caring service, as usual. Being woken up in the morning, being served handmade coffee, going through my work plans, everything seems same as usual, except when she yields her lap to me for my afternoon nap, I awaken to find that she's closed her eyes in slumber too. When I have dinner, she doesn't just stand by my side, but sits opposite to me with knife and fork in hands. When I start feeling tired from working at night, she doesn't share my workload in silence or massage my shoulders like she always does. Instead, she suggests that we head out to the deck together to get some fresh air, and her hand always manages to slip into the crook of my elbow amidst a warm night wind. Time always passes so quickly. But I was very happy to be with you today, Master. This was probably the happiest day I've had since coming to the Elmo. I can't help but recall our conversation from the welcome party at Zucchero. You don't have to stand behind me. You can do more of what you want. Those were my expectations of her that I conveyed that day, and it seems that she's been trying to do just that. But ever since then, it seems she's been doing nothing but serving me. Perhaps this is truly her wish and purpose, like she said, but I still want to try to have her take another step further forward. Centaureissi, are you really... The figure before me slowly fades away, and a familiar voice speaks into my ear. Good morning, Master. When I open my eyes again, I see Centaureissi beside my bed. She's been waiting there quietly in her gentle way, knowing that I wasn't fully awake yet. So, it was all just a dream. This is Ceylon tea made from a newly cut cultivar. Do give it a try, Master. She sets the teacup by the terminal and moves behind me, standing with one hand placed over the other. Centaureissi has always been caring and considerate in her service, and she's used to keeping a distance from me. Neither too close nor too far, always maintaining the ideal distance between master and servant. It's been a long time since we addressed each other as equals back at that welcome party, and her familiar and natural actions from that dream are seemingly limited to the realm of dreams. It is that dream that comes to mind again as my fingers tighten around the cup. Master, is this tea not to your tastes? No, that's not it, actually. I was thinking, Centaureissi, are you really alright with this state of affairs? Being a head maid, always standing behind me, your work and your life constantly revolving around me? You've asked me that question many times before. Indeed, being a maid is my job, but standing by your side and serving you is something I want to do. Living like this is most fulfilling. The expected answer comes from behind me, and I sigh. Perhaps that's the best way to handle things. I probably shouldn't press her about this any further. Or so I used to believe. Those days away from the Elmo have changed my mind, made me harbor a little wish of my own. Really? What kind of wish? Tell me. I'll do my best to... As a flame of hope rekindles, I make her to turn around to her. But then I feel her arms embracing me and from behind and pinning me in place. A pair of warm hands cover my eyes. This wish might... It could be considered overstepping my bounds, but... Master, could you hear me out? Just like this. I feel her warmth through my back, and the slight trembling of her hands over my eyes as she takes a deep breath. I've helped plan your daily routine. I've watched your back and stepped in to serve when appropriate. All that was part of my job, but that should have been all there was to it. The first rule of being a maid is to serve without expecting anything in return. Unnecessary emotions only serve to cloud my judgment and add needless chaos to my duties. If I am to serve you flawlessly, then I cannot allow myself to be influenced by my emotions. However, I've discovered that these emotions are beyond my ability to control. They rear their ugly head in things like that call before you went to sleep, standing by your bed for 5 extra minutes this morning, placing that cup of tea in your hands, and even confessing this wish of mine that a maid should not have. I want to stay by your side. I want to be more intimate with you, and it's starting to influence the service that I'm providing. I thought that for your sake I could remain professional. So, is your wish to get closer to me? Not as master and servant, but as two ordinary people? Is that it? It would seem that I've gone too far, after all. No, not at all. Rather, I should say that I'm happy to finally hear what you think, or truly think, Centaureissi, however long it might have taken. Unbound by your status as a maid, unshackled by those guidelines that you've drawn up for yourself, loyal only to your own heart. That's the Centaureissi that I wanted to see. And I was hoping that we could have such a relationship between us. I raised my hand to slightly lift her fingers from my eyes so I could see her face, but she subtly tightens her grip, insistent on blocking my line of sight. My surprise soon turns to acceptance. That's right. If I want her to assert herself, then it's only to be expected that I should respect her boundaries. Please don't look at me, Master. My heart isn't ready for that just yet. I feel a little confused, and I don't want you to see me in such a wretched state. In the darkness, I feel her body heating up as she presses herself against my back, the emotion in her words raw and thick. This isn't how a professional headmaid ought to behave, but does it even matter now? I'll cover her hands with mine and quietly wait for the trembling in them to subside. It's all right, Centaureissi. You have always been the perfect maid in my heart. I believe that no matter what happens, you will quickly adapt to it and make what we have even more perfect. Am I correct? Slowly, Centaureissi lowers her hands and our fingers intertwine. In that moment, golden sunlight floods into my eyes. Yes, Master. It's late at night, and I'm returning to my room after the day's work is done. There is a warm light in the dim corridor, shining on the person holding it up. Will you be taking your rest now, Master? Yes. Did you go out of your way to wait for me here? It wasn't out of my way. Not when I wanted to be here. After you, Master. She doesn't bring up her maid's duty like before, which surprises me a little. She trails behind me in silence, and I try to strike up a conversation with her. Were you doing anything while you were just waiting for me just now? Not at all. I finished the rest of my work for the day, so I had enough free time to wait for you. But you don't you find just standing there boring? What do you think about at times like these, Centaureissi? I simply take the most precious memories in my heart and revisit them. I think about every time you smiled in happiness, every time you praised me, every time we touched. As the number of these memories grows, I find myself feeling something new each time I recall them. It's just like how a good cup of coffee has a rich, nuanced taste and allows you to experience a new flavor with each sip. When I spend my time reminiscing like that, how could I possibly feel bored? As she speaks those words, I reach my room, and Centaureissi bows to me. Perhaps I'm asking for too much, but I still hope that every time the sun rises, every time you feel warmth, every time you smile in happiness and leisure, that whenever you experience something like that, you will think of me, even for just a moment. When I think about how our hearts are linked at that instant, it gives a new sense of reality to my recollections, and it gives value to my hard work. Will you dream of me when you sleep tonight, perhaps? No. You don't have to say anything, Master. Please allow me to end this day with a hopeful longing. Well then, good night and sweet dreams, Master. And then I invited her to sleep with me off camera. Oh my god. Alright, I'll shut the fuck up. Let's go to the voices.
长官，请问您对我最近的工作还满意吗？感觉长官有些疲惫，需要我为您泡杯咖啡吗？长官，该休息了，把文件放到一边，让我为您按摩一下肩膀吧。昨天的晚餐菜谱，没问题，乐意和您分享。只是，长官要做给什么人吃呢？长官。 您总是不让我打扫您的房间，是我的清洁不够到位吗？还是说，您的房间里有什么不能让我看到的东西？必须战斗时，我会拿起武器。如果有人想伤害长官和艾莫号上的朋友，我会毫不犹豫地扣下扳机。长官的笑容，是我最为珍视的记忆。不知不觉中。 就储存了许多和长官有关的回忆。 这些回忆让我觉得，我的付出是有意义的。为什么要喊长官？曾经只是军校时期的习惯，代表着我和您的上下级关系。现在，每一个人都能够喊您指挥官，可是长官，却是属于我一个人的称呼。请吩咐，行动中，为您服务，职责所在，明白。乐意效劳，请下令。收到，长官。没问题。待命中。该清理一下了，把身后交给我吧。大扫除时间，有我在。去除污垢。相比胜利，大家平安无事更令我感到开心。长官，请您先行撤离，我必须保护好您。茶歇时刻，活力十足是件好事，但我还是希望夏克里小姐能把精力平均分配到工作和演出上。因为任务的缘故，马奇朵小姐总是行踪不定。虽然我相信她的能力，但还是会替她感到担心。总觉得爱慕号上缺少生气。长官，我来帮您准备个盆栽如何？绿萝一类的植物非常易于种植哦。我正在对剑桥进行深度清洁，请长官放心，我会把每个角落都打扫得一尘不染。长官，您的甜品请慢用。我还准备了红茶和咖啡，您可以随意选择。少前2，追放。欢迎回来，长官。今天为您准备的是实验室培育的大吉岭红茶，类似过去自然栽培的品种，拥有着典雅的葡萄香气，希望您能喜欢。桑朵莱西为您服务，长官。今天的红茶，请放心交给我吧。再提高些标准吧，还能更好，不会令您失望。为了更好地保护大家，这是女仆的职责。